Yes, I know I'm nearly 2 years late with this one, but I had to talk about this game. It's stunning. This is my first experience with the God of War franchise, and I won't pretend to know at all about previous entries in the series. I had previously played a few hours of God of War a year or so ago, but it was my friend's copy and I never went back to it despite loving it at the time. Said friend then gave me my own copy for Christmas. Thanks, Connor. And what an amazing experience I had with this game. It looked incredible, the heartfelt and emotional story really moved me, and the gameplay was enthralling. Capable of being awe-inspiring and epic in scale, yet at other times personal and intense. I love this game and I'll be needing a sequel now, please and thank you. Developed by Santa Monica Studios and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment, God of War is the 8th installment in the franchise, but a great jumping on point for new players like me, as the story is very separate from what has come before but fills in all the gaps in your knowledge that you need as the story progresses, and one of our main characters makes the same discoveries we do. You play as Kratos, the former Greek god of war, as he journeys on a quest with his son Atreus to spread the ashes of his recently deceased wife and Atreus' mother across the highest point in the 9 realms. Kratos has kept his past as a god a secret from his son, but as their quest continues and the pair come across various monsters and gods from his former life, his secrets are put under threat. From the stunning visuals and awesome performances from a superb cast, particularly our 2 leads, I was enthralled and engaged with the story from beginning to end. Kratos and Atreus bear the emotional weight, as is to be expected, but there are plenty of other side characters that I grew just as attached to. Some were funny, some were threatening, and some were endearing. And for potentially the first time, Atreus is a child companion character that I actually didn't hate for 95% of the time, which is a nice change. The leads give subtle but powerful and fully committed performances throughout, and really sold the father and son bond that evolves through the story. The whole game looks beautiful, with designs and worlds I'll remember for a long time. The gameplay also feels smooth and satisfying as you engage in combat with the various different enemies of different size and shape. And as Atreus in particular grew more comfortable in combat, I did as a player. The numerous boss battles were also wonderful additions for the most part, ranging from close combat beatdowns to epic sequences full of quick-time events that luckily didn't bother me like they usually would. I do think some particular types of mini-bosses were used too frequently, but that's a minor quibble. The way the game takes a very intimate and personal story and makes it grand and epic is truly impressive. As I grew used to the combat, I also grasped the upgrading and levelling up system that initially had me overwhelmed. The game is very fair in rewarding you in every fight, allowing you to upgrade your weapons and armour at a decent pace, and the way this system is tied into the main story was very well done. Many elements of the campaign you may think aren't connected seamlessly blend together by the final act of the game, so kudos to the writing team for that. There are plenty of twists, turns and surprises during the journey. Outside of just combat, there are several different puzzle elements to the game that I had a lot of fun completing. I found it incredibly satisfying to finally work out what had to be done to solve the puzzle, and I think the difficulty level was just about right for me. Of course, there is the welcome addition of being able to change the difficulty at any time if you get a bit too stuck, which I love. For me, the game perfectly judged how often you came across platforming, logic or skill-based puzzles during the story. Even outside the main campaign, there are a few side quests that become available to you as you progress that I had a lot of fun with. You can revisit these if you wish after the main story, as well as visit previously unexplored realms and find tons of collectibles you may have missed or didn't have the ability to access just yet. The map and world feel real and expansive, creating a very immersive experience for me. I'm very excited to dive back in and find places I've yet to discover even now. If I had to force myself to nitpick, I would say there are a few moments during the story that had me rolling my eyes and saying, of course, when yet another diversion occurred to pad out the length of the campaign, that for me felt quite unnecessary. I also felt one aspect of Atreus' character arc was just a tad too rushed just before the final third of the game, but it still worked on the whole. The waypoint marker also behaved very confusingly for me at times and perhaps could have been tweaked or fine-tuned to work more smoothly. Overall, I had an amazing experience with God of War. It looked stunning, the performances all around were incredible, and the story was emotional, dramatic and epic in equal measure. There are some cool setups and twists for a sequel that I really hope we'll get to see, as I fell in love with this world and these characters very quickly. Despite being the 8th game in the series, it stands on its own to welcome new players, but there are also some really cool moments in there for long-term fans. I'll be thinking about how this game made me feel for a long while yet. I guess I could say this game was God tier. Okay, I'll shut up now.